Nation, welcome in. Trevor Lane here for LakersNation.com, your home for everything Lakers. Today, we're joined by Jeremiah Boswell of the Skill Factory. We're going to talk a little bit about Kai Sotto and other NBA prospects as they get ready for the NBA draft. Jeremiah, thank you so much for coming on here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Looking forward to it.
So we came out, Lakers Nation, we came out this past week and we went and we saw the Kai Sotto preparing for the draft and got to chat with him a little bit and see part of the process. And I want to get your take from the training side of things. What is it that right now you guys are working on in order to get Kai specifically ready for the draft, which is, I mean, it's coming up fast.
It's sneaking up fast, and especially when you consider how far out, you have to start your team workouts even before the draft. And so guys really have to be ready early. With Kai, you hear a lot of the same messages over the years. Super skilled, a lot of talent, but some of the things we've been really focusing on both offensively and defensively is just lateral movement, explosion, quickness. Can he defend? How can he defend? Physicality, toughness. Kind of the themes that you hear, as well as just making sure he's shooting the ball well. So I like to say in the pre-draft process during these workouts, there's really two things that are pretty basic that are going to give you an upper hand if you're prepared, and one of those is being in elite shape. So if you're in great shape, you're able to get up and down, you're able to play one-on-one and never get tired, do everything that the teams expect you to do and show no fatigue. That's really going to set you apart. And the other is if you're going to make shots, right? There's always going to be shooting drills. They always track everything. So if you're making shots, that's going to jump off the charts too.
And that's something that Kai definitely seems to have in his skill set, is the ability to hit that outside shot, the three-pointer, which, I mean, we're seeing more and more in the modern NBA where they're asking for bigs who can stretch the floor like that. But my big question coming into this, or at least one of them, was the lateral quickness, which you already mentioned. Can Kai keep up in that regard? Can he defend in space? Because we see the NBA has become such a pick and roll heavy league. You get bigs switched on to guards pretty consistently, unless you go into drop coverage or whatever it is that you're going to decide to do. How has the progress been there? When I was there, I saw Kai doing lateral slides with a rubber band, and somebody's holding on him and doing everything they can to make it more difficult. How's been the progress on that side of things?
I think he's gotten a lot better. I think being able to take the lens of having worked with him a few years back and seeing where he's at now, I can see progress. I think if you look at the micro level, from 2 weeks ago to today, it's harder to notice that progress. But overall, I would say he's making progress. But I also think one thing that's really helped him, and I can see in his growth, is that he's so long, right? He's 7'2", wingspan is really long. And so he used to not understand how to make up ground with his length. So if he gets beat laterally, he didn't understand how big he was and how stretching out could block a shot, contest a shot, change a shot. And now, not only is his lateral quickness improving, I feel like he understands his length and can go get a block and can go change and alter a shot and make that 3-point on a switch a little less comfortable for a guard. So he's starting to understand that too, which I think is a big part of being a better defender.
You mentioned that wingspan, and one of my takeaways from the open run was there were a number of alley-oop dunks. I mean, pretty vicious slams. And nobody in the gym really reacted like it was any big deal. They all kind of just, hey, this is something that we see every day. And that was my first indication that all of the guys playing here have played at a very high level and have seen this kind of stuff on a regular basis. If that was say a high school gym, everybody would have just been losing their minds if some of the dunks would drop there. But the one play that drew oohs and ahs, and he didn't even finish the play. He got fouled on it. Kai attacked from the baseline, and he put the ball in his right hand and just reached his arm out to keep it away from the defender. Just put it out and went and attacked. And he got fouled, so he didn't score on the play. He got to the free throw line. But that wingspan, how critical is that for his development, and how unique does that make him in terms of the players that you've seen? When he puts that ball out, I mean, nobody can touch him.
Yeah, no, it's like you think about Jabbar and the history of the game.
Yeah.
Like, guys find ways to score and create shots that you just can't block, right? It's make or miss, right? We're going to do the best we can, but we can't block it. And so I think also on that play, something that's really notable is as Kai stretches the floor, he caught that at the 3-point line. he's become a really good at shot fakes, right? So his shot fake is extremely effective. And so as he's making that three and you have to step out, he's really good making decisions with the ball and putting it on the floor downhill, one or two dribbles. And like you said, he's at the rim. Kind of another part of that is he's actually a really, really good finisher with his right hand. He's a lefty, but a lot of finishes go right hand. And so he's able to take off. He does a really good job of going off his left foot and stretching out with that right hand, like you said. And sometimes he's doing kind of the Euro slow steps using his body, which is kind of awkward. So he gets it off. But on that one, he just put it in, stretched it out, took off, right? So he has both options. And playing off that shot fake going downhill, he's I mean, it's really tough. Is he going to make it or miss it? We're doing what we can defensively.
I'm so glad that you mentioned his hand, that his right hand, because I wanted to ask you about this. I was talking with his dad, with Irvin, and we were talking about, being left-handed and the kind of advantages that can have. And through our discussion, it came out that Kai is actually right-handed, that he writes with his right hand. He just happens to play basketball left-handed. And of course, LeBron James is the same way, just the inverse. He's left-handed, but plays basketball with his right hand. Is that an advantage for Kai, that he tends to do things with his right? Like, does that make his offhand stronger compared to a typical player, or does that, or is there maybe no impact?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's huge when you think about bigs, right? So much of what they do historically, and even just in pick and roll play, right? They're playing around the rim. They're in the lane, right? Even those little short roll floaters. And to have the option to go with either hand is critical. It's huge, right? Like, you're not getting your shot blocked, by trying to shoot with your inside hand. And so I think that's really big for him. I think he's actually even going to have go-to moves on the block with his right hand, because he's just so comfortable either way. And like we said, he's good off his left foot as well. And so when you go off your left foot, it's natural to go right hand. So I think that's a big part of his upside. I think, like I said, I think one of his go-to moves will end up being a righty little kind of a quick floater, not really a hook, kind of an in-between shot. So I think it's a huge advantage.
One of the things that I talked to Kai about was the pressure that having an entire country. I mean, the Philippines are all very much behind Kai. The pressure of that, and he spoke very positively about it and loves it and all of that. What's been your takeaway from that? Just having that, all those hopes and everything on him. What have you seen in terms of his drive, his work ethic, and all of that, given the pressure that's on him?
Yeah, I think probably a few years ago it sat heavy on him, and you could feel it, you could see it. Like, he came to the States, he was young, like it was just, he felt it. I think, and I think now he's kind of, his mindset is like about developing and getting better. Honestly, like, I don't feel that same sense of pressure. Like, I think he knows, as long as he does what he's supposed to do and continues to improve, he's going to get where he needs to be. And I think he's kind of found a way to not listen to everything, to value what he's in, the moment he's in, and the people that he's around, and care about the family, and know that he's doing all that he can. And so I think that maybe a little here and there feels the pressure, but I don't think it gets to him like it did when he was younger. But certainly a lot of pressure. I mean, to be the first at anything is unique and special, and the Philippines loves basketball. So there is pressure, but I think he's done a really good job of handling it.
Now, one of the things that also struck me was Kai's schedule. It's pretty rigorous when you look at just the amount of physical activity in any given day in terms of his training sessions. Now, again, I only saw we were with him for 2 days, so I got a 2-day snapshot of that. Are there ebbs and flows to that as you get closer and closer to his team workouts and things like? How do you manage all of that?
Yeah, it's an interesting process. It's a very delicate process. You obviously want people to go in fresh to team workouts and healthy to team workouts, both mentally and physically. So, we have to balance it. The good thing for us is we do have some experience doing it. So we've, been doing pre-draft for, 8 years or so, and have seen a lot of guys get drafted and have a lot of success. So this is like a window where guys understand the importance of the work, and they're willing to put it in. And as long as you're strategic and you have a plan, you have some periodization to it, they'll buy in and they'll put in that work because they know the importance. So we do have to be careful. We did have to hit the ground running hard. Obviously, his time in the NBL was a little longer than, you know, a college kid who didn't make the tournament, right? So his jumped right in kind of heavy, and we tail back and, you know, figure out when to push and pull a little bit. We do listen to the players, make sure we know where they're at mentally, where their bodies are at. So, but to your point, we have to go, you know, we have to get him ready. And so that's what we're charged with. And we were going hard. So I think probably both those days he had 3 a-days, right?
Yeah.
Between his on court and off court work. So yeah, we're pushing him.
Yeah, I think he was like, you know, lifting in the morning, and then he was doing skills training, and then a shoot around later. I mean, basically it was basketball rest, more basketball all day, which is incredible, just the amount of work that he was putting in. You mentioned the NBL. And you've been working with Kai for a few years now. What did that mean for his development, playing there, playing in a professional league in Australia? Did you see a lot of growth during his time there?
Yeah, I did. Honestly, I think he's become more of a pro. You know, I think he got a real pro experience, and I think the other thing, you know, that entails a lot, right? Like taking care of your body. He comes in as he foam rolling and stretching, and just, you know, kind of knowing what it takes to be a professional, and your body is your tool. I think he also had to grow up some, right? Like both from a physical standpoint and just like playing time, right? Like how do you deal with adversity, and you're not playing when you want to, or you feel like you're earning it in practice, but that guy's the guy that's getting paid all the money, so he needs to play. And so, you know, just kind of understanding what those dynamics are was big. But I think really maybe one of the more important things for him was just the physicality of the NBL. That's a really physical, like it's known to be a physical league, and that's always been something people have asked about Kai. Like, can he handle it? And so to go there and kind of step up to that challenge and to get better at it, and now he's coming back stronger and more physically prepared for the NBA. So I think that was a big part of it as well. So I think he definitely made some strides.
Watching the guys, there was a point where the guys they were in the open run, and the guys kind of got called out. We're told, hey, you guys need to make sure that you're focusing on everything, that you're playing the right way. This isn't about, you know, jacking up shots and things of that nature. It felt like there was a general sense of, we need to all stay focused on getting better. That's the goal. That's why we're all out here. And what stood out to me was the players holding each other accountable in that effort. How do you foster that in your system?
You know, we're lucky to have some guys that are working with us that just get it. I think kind of the beauty of this time for us is really cool because we have some veterans who have played in the NBA, but you also have these young guys who are in college or NBL or wherever, trying to become pros. And so there's this blend of like older guy wants to see it done right, wants people getting better, and younger guy who just wants to play hard and do everything and maybe score every time, and he thinks that's what value is. And so we've just tried to blend those two worlds, and we've got some leaders in that have played in the NBA and have experience and know what it looks like, that are just great. You know, like you said, it was peer to peer, which is better than coach to player at any time. So we're just lucky. You know, we do talk to the vets, you know, and say, look, this guy or these guys could really benefit from hearing your voice. Like, I've been saying this, but you saying it's different. So we'll plug that here and there, but it's just the nature of good leaders, good players who have been through it before.
Last thing, what can you tell us about the Skill Factory? What its inception? What's the goal? What's the success that you've had there? What kind of information can you give us about the Skill Factory itself?
Sure. Yeah. The Skill Factory has been around for 10 years. Really started as like a youth kids kind of training organization, like most do. My partner and I kind of saw it as an opportunity to create what we thought was going to be the US's first full academy. So when you think about those academies and club programs in Europe that go from, you know, entry level 4 or 5 year olds all the way up through pro. And so we started building towards that. And so now we have little kid, you know, camps and programs and training and skill development, but we also have club teams that compete year round. We have an EYBL program, so we compete on the Nike circuit. We also have a true high school team as well as post-grad programs. We then do pre-draft training. We work with a lot of pros, so we train NBA players, pre-draft guys. And so what we've tried to do is create the full academy, from youth to pro, and then also allowed, as you know, there's a lot of just disconnect in youth basketball. So when you talk to a 14, 15, 16-year-old kid in basketball, they got this trainer over here, this high school coach, that AAU coach, this, and it's just a lot, right? And so we wanted to create, not necessarily the year-round model, because we do believe in rest and recovery, but the same family kind of owning that program. And so like if you're in the Skill Factory program, you could play your high school basketball with us and develop through that season, get your rest, but also continue your development with our EYBL team. And so like we've got one kind of plan and vision all going in one direction, instead of, I played the 4 in high school, but I'm a point guard in AAU. So, right. I think that's kind of the goal, and to help people, and ultimately just help players get better. That's what the fun is.
That's right. That's the important part for development and everything, is just having that consistency. So very impressive stuff from what I saw when I was out there. Jeremiah, thank you so much for coming on here. I truly appreciate it. And this has been great getting to catch up with you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Lakers Nation, thank you guys for joining us. Make sure that you do subscribe to the Lakers Nation YouTube channel. Ring that notification bell as well. And of course, follow the Lakers Nation podcast anywhere that you listen to podcasts. Till next time, everybody. See ya and stay safe.